Hey guys, this is Mike Taralla with Qlik. The following video is from my Do More with Qlik webinar series, where I presented a day in the life of a Qlik Cloud user. I've gotten some great feedback on it, and people have asked me to make a copy of it available in YouTube. So this is that particular presentation. If you have questions, please let me know, post them in the comments below. But other than that, sit back and enjoy.
I'm here to showcase what it could be like to be a Qlik Cloud Platform user. Okay, and note the term user could have many titles. I don't know who uses them differently in what organization and what industry. Analyst, consumer, business user, power user. Some people even call them, analytical developers. Today, I'm going to show you many of the great capabilities of the Qlik Cloud Platform. That's going to help you explore the data, uncover insights, and make sense so you can make informed decisions within the business or create solutions for your partners that can make sense for them. So this is all more about exploring and discovering, and it's less about creating content. So what you will see, okay, here's a subset of things that you're going to see, and I'm going to kick it off with QlikSense Mobile. Keep in mind, it's built within a scenario setting to follow and show you these capabilities. It's not just a dog and pony of me talking about different things. So QlikSense mobile, beautiful visualizations, exploring data freely, navigating the Qlik Cloud Hub, search and selection, export and sharing, data associations, uncovering insights, operational reporting and distribution, alerts and notifications, collaboration, data storytelling, changing variables and saving selection states, etc. There's a lot more we can cover. There's so much more we can cover. So always look to our additional resources for these as well. Now, every now and then I try to go back to the slide just to keep me honest as I present when I'm presenting what I cover. One final thing to remember. What I'm presenting you is not just about telling the what, who, where, and when. It's also uncovering, understanding the why behind the data and taking action on define your findings in that moment. And the Qlik Cloud Active Intelligence Platform can help you do that. If your BI solution is not allowing you to take informed action or turning that raw data into informed action, is it really, really that worth it? I really want you guys to think about that. Okay, so we are going to stop that. We're going to set up the scenario. So I have a little scenario here for you. And this scenario is built off of the fact that everybody starts their day in some shape or form, right? So you got my mobile device right here. Okay, so I just woke up and I'm going to start my day. How do you start your day? I must admit I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to activity and work. I pick up my phone. It's the first thing I look at the time. I check my notifications. I check my email. I'm in charge of analyzing sales and order and fulfillment data, and I grab my mobile device, and like many of us, I check that stuff. Nothing's out there, so I start to play Candy Crush. And I must admit, I just started playing this with my wife. She's addicted to this game. She's like, I think on level 1700. I didn't even know there were that many levels. So it is kind of addicting when you have nothing else to do. So basically, kicking off the scenario to say, all right, yeah, I'm going to start my game playing Candy Crush, but only to, what's going to ensue after that. Obviously, just a simple scenario just to kind of kick it off and show you what's going on. So off screen, what's going to happen here? Let me close this down. Let me put that in there. So now off screen, obviously you can't see what's happening, but I'm initiating a reload of my data and I'm utilizing my device, right? So I'm just simulating how anybody starts their day, and they're always usually on their mobile device. So for me, I'm relaxing, playing a game of Candy Crush. And I know you're looking at this right now saying, wait, get that one, like my wife does. She's always telling me to pointing at where I should swipe. And I was like, will you just play? Oh, what's going on here? All right, so QlikSense Mobile just alerted me that I have a order. Actually, I have 3 orders that are exceeding the fulfillment time. So I'm going to move that out of the way. And now we just looked at a refund in for those returns are at $568. Okay, this is getting even more concerning. And there have been 7 orders that have been canceled. All right, so I'm going to tap this alert, and this is going to bring me to QlikSense Mobile. So I thought I was going to start my day relaxing and not have to worry about anything, but QlikSense Mobile and QlikSense Alerting just alerted me to a number of things. Showed me I had customer refund of $586. there are 3 orders that exceeded their fulfillment time, and then we have some canceled orders. There's obviously something going on here, and we need to start investigating this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just look at the customer refunded, and I just want to see that we have a gross returns greater than 500 setting for our returns. This triggered the alert, so $568. It made me aware that we've just provided a huge refund to a number of customers in total. So going back to my alerts, now I'm going to look at the canceled orders. And we can see there's 7 orders that have been canceled, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 order numbers are now being displayed. And based off of my flag and the way I set up my alert, it's also showing me the dimension, in this case, the order ID. So now I have the order IDs in front of me that I can investigate even further. Now I could actually tap View in App, and this is going to bring me to my order cancellations sheet inside a Qlik SaaS app. So this is actually going to now provide me with additional information on this. And we can see the canceled orders have been 7. Days since order are 40. So that means these 7 orders have over 40 days since they've been placed, and they haven't been created or manufactured yet. Total returns, $568, lost profit, return of cost of goods sold, and some additional information here on the order details. Right, that's not good. Let me go back to my alerts. Again, just for alerting, you can see we have history, details, conditions, so you can look at this, even recipients. So not only did I receive it, but my sales rep, John Doe, also received this, so he's aware. So there's no excuse saying, I didn't know. So at this time, the last thing I want to look at is the exceeding fulfillment time. So there's 3 orders that are greater than 4 weeks, and we have these 3 orders here, and there's the amount that's out there, and we can see weeks greater than 4. Okay, so what is this telling me? That there is the potential for these 3 orders to now be canceled. And that is not good. So let me go back. Let me look at recipients. Yep, John Doe is aware of this as well. So directly from Qlik Mobile, I was alerted of this information. I have information on who is aware. I have information on the totals and the orders that have been canceled, and a potential reason to understand that there might be other orders that are going to be canceled. If I click View in App, it brings me directly to the Qlik SaaS environment. Into the exact same sheet we're going to look at over the web, but this is also showing me more information. I also want to make you aware that at any time I could download these apps and work with them offline. I could also provide selections and searching and looking at different elements. I'm just not going to do that on this because of the time that we have. Right now I'm just browsing some of the information, such as the last order was placed today. The order number was 1488. There's 31 orders for the current month, and it's taking at least 30 days for each order to be created before it's sent. There's the orders exceeding fulfillment time. We have a button here that's going to allow us to alert our staff, but I'm going to show you that in a moment directly from the web interface, because we're going to have a little example of that. Total number of orders, fulfilled orders, total unfulfilled orders, 31. Okay, and there's some additional information showing targets, goals, and other potential orders that are at risk. All right, that's not good. So what we're going to do at this point here, we're going to put our mobile device away, and we're going to log in to our Qlik SaaS environment through our hub. What I'm going to do is just navigate to the hub interface. Now keep in mind, off screen, I have a checklist of things just to make sure that I'm covering all the things I wanted to show you. Okay, so now I'm in the Qlik SaaS hub. Now this hub is connected to my identity provider, Okta, okay, single sign-on provider that has all of my authorities, authentication. I just logged in. And now I'm greeted with a home screen, a catalog, and collections, ways of securing and organizing my apps. And we call these apps. And I was on a phone call with a customer the other day, and when they heard apps, they got confused because they're thinking of apps like on a mobile device. We called each individual tile here as an app, which is a collection of dashboards and sheets, which have your charts and all the information that you want to be analyzing and be made aware of. So what I'm going to do is go into this. Now I could search and all that other stuff. There's a lot of other things you can do here in the catalog, but right now I'm just looking at my apps, and I'm going to click on that app. It's going to bring me into a app overview, and I'm going to look at all the different sheets that are available. Okay, now there's ways of collaborating, co-developing, sharing with other developers. Again, beyond the state of what we're talking about here at the moment. I'm going to look for my order fulfillment dashboard where we were a moment ago. So I'm going to click on that, and it's the same exact sheet that we see, that we were alerted to within our information. And we can see now the orders that are exceeding the fulfillment time and other information that we saw, okay? And we can see the majority of products that have not been fulfilled are arcade sticks. We have information here that can link me to the e-commerce platform, number of different types of KPIs, canceled number of orders, orders processing trend, or number of orders over time. Okay, all different beautiful visualizations that can be created and provide meaningful information. Remember we talked about who, what, where, and when? Well, it's more than just that, because we're going to take action on this data. And as I do this, I'm just bringing up my, making sure you guys are good. All here, all everybody's good, good. So we know that these 3 orders are at potential of being risk, and they're over 4 weeks old. Well, we need to process these orders quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to change some of these parameters. Now, I'm going to say, well, let's look for orders that are maybe over 19 days old. And let's look at orders that have maybe more than 2 items. Let's see what we can show up there. And then I also want to say total sales that are greater than, let's say, 100, if we will. I hope my session didn't expire. This sometimes happens when it's set. Let me just refresh my browser. There we go. Okay. So we changed some parameters to basically say total sales greater than 100, number of items per order, a Vectrex analog arcade stick, and a Vectrex control joystick gamepad. So I don't want this guy to cancel this order. It's already 5 weeks over. I'm going to alert my staff. So when I click this button, I want you to keep track of what's going to happen. And obviously, just bear with me as I set up my screen. Because as you know, there's a lot of moving parts. My staff, in this case, let's just call him John Doe. He's on Slack. And then I have another staff member. They don't like Slack. They're on Teams. So they're on Teams. And I'm just going to click Alert Staff. Now, what that's actually doing under the covers is it's running a app automation. And we can talk about that later if you want. But this is how we integrate our Qlik platform. And as I bring this up, there's my, and there we go, you just saw it pop up. Now, I don't understand why Slack does not provide a icon on my taskbar. There it is, but you'll see it happen in real time. Okay, so what's happening under the covers right now is I'm alerting my staff to the parameters that we have a order that we need to take action on, and I need them to process this one immediately to prevent cancellation. So right now you can see it just popped up on both Teams and Slack, telling me, hello, you have orders that have exceeded the order fulfillment time, orders totaling greater than 100, total numbers of items 2, total number of days passed, 19. Click this link to view the report. Same thing going on here, click for report. Okay, so we have Teams, we have Slack. You guys get the picture with that. So I'm just gonna click this. I'm gonna click my Dropbox icon. And this is a repository where I wrote an operational report that I created with QlikSense that now alerts me to the exceeded fulfillment time, the control pad, the arcade stick. Now my staff knows what they need to build immediately. So if they're receiving this notification, their priority right now is building this and sending this order out. Okay, so taking action on the information that was learned, starting from QlikSense Mobile and working all the way to the QlikSense platform and showing operational report distribution, as well as app automation and real-time action notification. Okay, again, part of the possible. And the best part is I did not have to code anything. Yes, I needed to know how to connect to my source systems. I needed to know how to, utilize app automation. But you can see here's my blocks and my control blocks, my Dropbox blocks, my working with Qlik Cloud services, conditions, my report service blocks, connecting directly into my Qlik Cloud platform, pulling in my apps and my reports. I also wrote the report to SharePoint. I also wrote the report to, and there's the exceeded fulfillment report. We just refresh our SharePoint, and you can see that same PDF document was also written to SharePoint. It should have been. If it wasn't, I'd have to refresh, or maybe it just didn't change the timestamp. But you can write to a number of different platforms, and there's the messages sending to Slack and Teams. Okay, so kind of one of the, and this just says your alert has been sent, close your tab. Now, on top of that, I don't have Slack. Okay, well, I also have email, and there's the attachment. Okay, so this should give you the comfort that we are able to send notifications and distribute reports, organize, in your enterprise, in your organization, wherever they are. And if they have these things on their mobile devices, they'll get notified on the go as well. Okay, so that was my little kickoff scenario. Hopefully, see, don't have the pleasure of seeing your smiling faces, but hopefully some of you are really nodding your heads here, saying, "Wow, that is really cool," and I understand, that this is possible. This could be done, and it's actually easy to develop. You're really limited to your imagination. Okay, so my staff now knows which orders to work on. We took that capability to prevent potential cancellation of future orders. Okay, so now at this time, what I want to do is start collecting some findings to present to my management. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, we want to show them that this chart is what we need to work on, and explain the problem that we had as well. So I'm just going to go to Storytelling Snapshots and take a snapshot. I'm also going to show them of the total number of unfulfilled orders. So I'm going to take a snapshot. And I'm also going to show them the current goals and targets that we have here. I'm going to take another snapshot. Okay, so right now I'm collecting individual snapshots of these chart objects to start creating a story for my management, to show them that we need to be more proactive and need to be checking these particular orders and their fulfillment times. And we're alerted a number of different ways, through conditional styling, through icons and notification, through reporting tables, okay? So let's make sure these people are aware of this. So we're going to now jump to storytelling. Now I'm going to create a new slide. I'm going to go into my snapshot repository, and I'm going to start grabbing all of my KPIs. I could assemble them with text and graphics and images. I could even put a live sheet. Now, obviously, I have a slide already developed. So taking action to prevent sales cancellation. Hey, that moved. Put that back, make it look cool. So we have our images, we have our icons, we have our graphics. These orders are at risk for cancellation. Total unfulfilled orders. These orders are complete. Let's find all orders that are 30 or more days old and process as soon as possible. These orders are approaching 40 days old and not fulfilled, blah, blah, blah. I think you guys get the point. But you can basically jump from real-time analysis and action to presentation and presenting your findings to management or to those who need to be aware of what you are finding at the time you're finding it. So you're capturing that information and presenting it immediately. You're not exporting or capturing screenshots and then putting them in PowerPoint or an email. Everything's self-contained directly within that app. So that's a little bit of data storytelling. I always love data storytelling. Also, I use data storytelling. You can use it to create, reports and stuff as well. All right. So now I'm interested in seeing how we did from a sales perspective. So I'm going to navigate to my sheets. And I'm going to look at my current month analysis. What I love about this dashboard is that this dashboard will reset every month. So come June 1st, if no sales load, everything's here is going to be 0. So each of these objects are now showing me total sales versus what we did in April. Total sales for May, what we did in April. There's a delta of almost $400 when compared to last month. We have a refunded amount of $45.91. Total discount. What the hell's going on here? Total discounts of $117. That's crazy. Shipping, canceled orders, total orders for May. We have our targets here. How we're reaching what we did last month. Pretty close, not too bad. And then there's also some other information here showing me, the components and the costs, as well as the orders just for May and those that are fulfilled and unfulfilled. And you can see along with the styling. See, this is concerning to me right here. How do we have a $1.69 minus profit? Well, because there's a 1099 discount here. One of our sales reps is a little discount happy. Let me find out what's going on here. So I'm going to open up my notes, and I'm going to create a new note. I'm going to call it discounts. Now, at the same time, hey, John, I'm going to tag John in here. I'm going to make him an editor because I want him to collaborate to me. Say, what's going on here, bud? And I'm going to take a snapshot and add this to my note. So create note with snapshot. Oh, I should have said add snapshot to note. Oh, no, is that it? Hold on a second. I must have added that. Hold on. Discounts. Right click. Add snapshot to note. So you can create a brand new note directly without having to open up the note, or you can be in a note and then add that snapshot directly to the note. So at the same time, off screen, here is John Doe in another session, in a little face. You got an alert. Michael Tarallo just mentioned you in notes on discounts. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, here it is. So keep track of what's going on the left and keep track of what's going on here. So now John Doe was responding. Hey, Mike. Well, he pressured me. It is this same customer. He is a good guy. I don't know. I'm just typing BS right now. But you can see it's real time. So as John Doe is typing to Mike, and Mike is typing back to John Doe. Now, if I click this, it's going to disappear for a second. Okay. Well, don't do it again. I'm just going to move over back, and you can see now Michael Tarallo's typed back. So this is real-time notes collaboration. So as things are happening in your data, you can immediately capture that information and send it directly to your colleagues. Again, without having to do screen capture, paste into an email, get lost, all this information is maintained in the app with appropriate auditing timestamps and dates, as well as providing the ability to see last updated, when it was created, where it exists, who the owner is, etc. Okay? And notes can also be accessed directly from the catalog. So you don't have to go into the app. You can just say, well, I want to search just on notes, and then open up that note directly while you're in the hub. Okay, so real-time collaboration along with notes. All right, so I think we yelled at John enough right now, so let's close our notes. Let's continue exploring this. So I'm interested in looking at some of this information. This is just now looking at some of the ways we can present the data. I have information inside this individual container compressed. In other words, I'm looking at distribution. I can see that arcade sticks are our top sellers for this month, along with additional, outliers showing our mid, median, and max sales within this distribution plot. The majority of my sales are coming from the sale of arcade sticks, and then some of these other straggler items followed by control pads. I can look at orders by day. See, we're averaging consistently almost 2 orders per day. And I could also see where the sales are coming from by country. I could customize the icons. I could even hover over the icon and look at additional information, such as what is purchased in those particular states or cities. Okay, so we have the ability to create tooltips and provide visualizations as part of that. And you can adjust those small, medium, and large. At the same time, I could also explore, such as I see there's a risk level here. So we have low and medium risk levels. So this is selections. So at this point here, I'm just going to say, well, let's look at what sales were attributed to medium risk level. And we can see there was a sale of a item within arcade sticks and control pad. And it was sold. Let me see, maybe there's nothing. Okay, so there's no sales actually related to medium risk in that case for the month of May. But there's majority of sales are all low related. So you can perform search and selection directly from the filter list. And one thing to keep track of is that the green, white, and gray are going to help allow you to prompt additional questions you might have thought to ask. So for example, if I just say, let's look at all the item types that are related to item model. Where's my model? Control pad. So everything that's highlighted in gray, oh, there we go, moved over to the right. I'm sorry. I want to look at 5200. Let me just expand this quickly. Let me just choose 5200. So as I selected 5200, this is now showing me all the sales related in May that have the model of 5200. And I can see there are arcade sticks, there's module combos, control pads, and other. But then you also see that there's some dark gray here. And these are items that are not related. So items that are in white are related to my selection. Items that are in dark gray are not related. So this is a great way to provide additional insight into your data by showing the relationship of your data. Now, this might be ways of looking at items that have not sold. So for example, there's nothing related to 5200 in this aspect here. That means that these particular products do not have a 5200 capability, or they're not compatible with 5200. So maybe there should be a need to create something like that. If I select, for example, control pad, and we look here, there's no gray. That means all of the items that sold to the item model are related to control pad because it's all in white. Okay. If I click on, for example, just looking at fulfilled, so all the items related to that particular item type and model that have been sold have been fulfilled at this time. If they would show up in dark gray, it would show that they weren't fulfilled at that time. So there's a way of utilizing, for example, here we go. So we have unfulfilled items. These particular items that are in dark gray have been fulfilled because they're not related. So it gives you another indication of the relationship between the data. Now, this is just a few filters. If you wanted to see all the relationships amongst all the dimensions, you can open up the global filter panel, and then you can look at other relationships at the same time. So here, you can just click on anything you might be interested in. For example, let me see. Something might be of interest. It's more date related, billing country, billing name, accepts marketing. I don't know where it is. So let's look for country. Oh, there it is. Just search for it. So billing country. So let's just say, click Belgium. Okay. So I can see all the information related to the selection of Belgium in this instance here. And then you can see the relationships as well. Now, this is very particular depending on how your data has been set up, but it's a great way of looking at additional insights that you might not have thought to ask, or ask questions you might have thought to ask by looking at the green, white, and gray. Okay, so at this point, I'm interested in understanding more of how we did this year versus last year completely. So I'm just going to jump into Inside Advisor. And I just want to see something in regards to those discounts from John Doe. I want to just type in what are, got a question, what are total discounts today? So using Inside Advisor natural query search allows me to simply put in a query, and it will understand what I'm looking for based off of what it's learned in my data. So today we provided a $50 discount. All right. So let's say by model and ID. So it's automatically creating an analysis that we could look at. Now, I'm not interested in this smart sheet that was developed, but I am interested in these two orders. So we will automatically suggest analysis to answer additional questions utilizing Inside Advisor. So Inside Advisor is not just for initial suggestion and creation of charts and dashboards. It's also a way of answering additional questions as you're exploring your data. So I just discovered there are two orders between yesterday and today that have been heavily discounted. Okay, and those are orders 1488 and 1487. So what I want to do here is I'm going to do a global search, and I'm going to look for 1488. And you can see it automatically pops up and applies it as a selection. Now I'm just going to turn off Inside Advisor, and within the same dashboard, I can now see it's an unfulfilled order placed on 526 for a DB9 repair cable, $10.99 discount, a loss of $1.69. Let's click on this order and see where it takes us. It brings us directly into our e-commerce platform and shows me that individual order. And look, it's some guy named Michael Tarallo that just keeps on finagling free orders from my sales rep, John Doe. I don't know what's going on here. $10.99 discount. We could see the discount was a courtesy discount. All right, well, we have to have some more conversations. He's giving his friend some free stuff. So right off the bat, I just linked QlikSense directly to my e-commerce platform to, again, take action and identify additional information. All right, so again, I could take a snapshot of all this information. I can, collaborate. I can do everything I just showed you earlier as well. So that's also a good way of showing you, search and selection. If you don't know where to start, you open up our global smart search, type in what you know. For example, I'm looking in, all the low, there's a category of sales, for example, sales or products that have, a low range of, that fall in with, 300 to 100 or 200 to 300 or 300 to 400. You can create categories of sales performance ranges. Pretty much you can search for almost anything that's, available. And as I typed in the value low, I can see there was a sales range with the value low, but there's also a risk level. There's also a last name. There's also a billing name and a shipping phone. Okay. Any of these objects, it's important to realize and also to show you that you can right-click, you can share, you can copy the link directly to the object to be embedded within like an iframe or something else. So for example, here's just that particular link to that sheet as a URL. Or I could take it as an image, and I could say, oh, for example, here's a good one. Total discounts. Let's share this as an image. And we're going to send it to John Doe Qlik at outlook.com. Just yell at him again. Okay, so I just sent a message. By the way, here's John Doe's email. He's also getting alert notifications, not only directly within the web interface, but he's also getting them as an email. And you could choose how to get these alerts. Oh, we got an email from Michael Tarallo. He just shared a chart with you. Dude. Okay, so you can take information out and send it directly as an image or provide it as a link, etc. That was sharing as an image, copying of the link, or you can do embed. And you can allow interaction, enable context menus, allow selections, change languages, change themes, and then take the iframe source and paste it into a web page. Obviously, the web interface will have to have integration with whatever security authentication, so it will pop up. You can take all of these elements and embed them directly. Now, open new in a preview tab. And there's just that object along with the search and selection capabilities turned on. So that's sharing. You could also download as an image, as a PDF document, export the data. All right, what we're going to do now is navigate to another sheet, and we're going to go to the sales analysis dashboard. And as I mentioned, building these dashboards can be done manually, so to speak. You could also do them with Insight Advisor. So before we look at the data contained in this dashboard, we're just going to go back to Insight Advisor. And this time, instead of searching or using our point and click, I'm going to use our analysis types. And I know what I'm after. I could look at calculated measures, ranking, very simply, I could say, let's look at a calculated measure, and I want to look at my sales figure, and it'll create the sales. Now I want to look at my analysis periods. I want to look at how we're doing between the two different periods for the month. So I'm going to select order date month. And now I want to look at how April is compared to May. Okay, didn't have to code anything, didn't have to create any crazy set analysis expressions. This is all built in to the Insight Advisor and calendar periods within Business Logic. Or I'm interested in looking at period changes, and I want to create a little bit more. So this time I'm going to look at my sales, and I'm going to look at this information by the models. and the time period suggested is order date. So we're suggesting, based off of what it's learned for the classifications of the fields, what elements we could use to create this dashboard. So we'll look at order date, and it creates a template. I can select the template, and I could further make some changes, such as changing the aggregations or the breakdown of the dimension, but I want to use the ones that I selected. And we're going to go back and we're going to select our order date month. And we're going to look at April versus May. And then we're going to click Open Analysis. This creates a change dashboard that shows me the different elements between March and April. We're at a minus 400 loss right now for the month of May when compared to April, which is about a 13% delta. And these visualizations are showing me, though, we have an increase in change for all of these particular products, but we have a loss when it comes to control pads and arcade sticks. Minus $525 for arcade sticks and minus $111 for 97. Possibly because of those heavily discounted items, thanks to John. But we'll have to yell at him for that later. But here's all the increase for the model variations that have been sold between April and May, and here is the decrease. Pretty good, right? And now we could just add this to our sheet. Now, if I wanted to, it'll be directly as a sheet inside my sheets in my app. Now, if I wanted to edit this, click on this. You could actually see under the covers what's actually built, which is really cool. And now I could do my styling and changes and all that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to go back to our sheets. We're going to go to our sales analysis dashboard. Go into analysis mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop real quick. I just want to make sure everybody's okay. Get some questions coming up. Okay, good. Everybody's good. Thank you. Okay, so when looking at this particular analysis, what's coming up or what's sticking out in my head here? Gross returns are very high, and I want to keep track of this. This is BS. I don't want people. I need to know what's going on. So I'm going to right-click, select alerts, create a new alert. There's my gross returns title. I can give it a description. There's my data to keep track of. Show by dimension. I'm just going to keep this simple, guys. But alerting built in is awesome. Gross returns are greater than 600. Okay, the alert is not going to trigger right now because it's not at that amount. If I would have said gross returns is greater than 500, this preview is going to help you understand when the alert will be triggered. And you can see 568, so it would be triggered at that time. So I'll just keep it for 500 for argument's sake. Click next. When is the data? When to evaluate it? When it's refreshed, meaning when the scheduled reload, or daily, weekly, monthly. If we should snooze it, if it's something we do on a daily basis, and the data hasn't changed, do we still want the alert? And guess what? John Doe is going to be aware about this. So we're going to share this with John Doe, so he's going to be made aware, just like you saw earlier. I click Create. Now I just created an alert. My alerts are available through the Manage Alert interface, which I'm not going to show you right now just because of time's sake. But basically, now I can manage all my alerts, look at the history, and so forth. So we just created alert to keep track of those particular gross returns. So again, I see these discounts, 849. I just got to go ask another question. Let's see what's going on here. I'm going to go to Inside Advisor. I'm going to look at total discounts. That was today. See, I'm using natural language. But I don't care about today. We already know about today. I want to know about yesterday. This guy's doing it again. I swear to God, I'm going to smack him. So discount amount yesterday. You can see the order date, $45, $525. So there was another discount ordered yesterday. God. All right. Well, switch out Inside Advisor and go back. Okay, that's just a quick little example to show you how you can switch back and forth to Inside Advisor when you're actually performing your analysis. All right. So we already sent a note to John regarding his heavily discount. So he needs to be aware of that. A couple other things that I'm interested in here is I see there's non-buyers, 119 non-buyers. Let's click on this. Let's see who these buyers are. So this is going to actually drill into another sheet. And as I'm bringing that sheet up, I can see here, here's all the non-buyers. Well, we have to respect their privacy. Let's see the ones who accepted email marketing. All right. Well, these 5 guys. Let's send them a quick message. Okay. So that opens up my email interface. And now I can say, hey, Daniel, assistance with your order. I see you visited the site, but did not place an order. If you need assistance with something, please let me know. So directly from the table, I'm using HTML and other scripting to interact with third-party based applications. Okay, now this very easily could be a link to a messaging interface, like MailChimp, if you want, or a marketing automation platform. But this is just showing a quick example of just sending a message and passing those parameters over to that individual. Okay, so some really cool stuff that you can do. I'll just check the time real quick. Good on time. At this point, I also like to bring up, to make sure I covered, so we talked about Sense Mobile. You saw beautiful visualizations, exploring data freely, navigating the cloud, search the Qlik Cloud Hub, search and selection, export and sharing, data association, uncovering insights, operational report distribution, alerts and notifications, collaboration, data storytelling. We got to talk about changing variables, saving selection states. Very simple. So as I'm looking at this particular dashboard, I just want to see how we did for the year 2000. So I'm just going to use a bookmark, and I'm just going to select my bookmark called year 2022. And all that is the ability to, as you're analyzing data, you can create a bookmark to save that selection state. If I'm only interested in maybe looking at, all the arcade sticks that contributed to the sales in the year 2022, and then I want to save this as a bookmark, I just go to my bookmarks, create a new bookmark. I'll just call it 123, save the sheet location because I want it to go there directly when I click on that bookmark. I'm just going to call it bookmark 123. And now it applied that selection state. So what does that mean to you? Well, it means that you can have the most frequently used selections ready to go directly from your app overview. So when you go to bookmarks, you just select bookmark 123, and it brings you to the sheet of your choice along with the selection state that you chose during that time. Okay, very simple to use, very easy to understand. And now the other thing we talked about, changing variables. So we're going to move to the next sheet, and you can see how sheet navigation works. It's very simple. There's other ways of also navigating sheets through buttons and custom objects that you can drag and drop. That's more of the creation part of this. So we're going to go over to the performance dashboard. Now, I built this as a way of showing you goal tracking and performance, if you're looking at actual versus budget or certain goals. And I used variables as a way to manipulate the ranges. And the reason for that is because obviously these could be hard-coded values. They could be pulled from a database. You don't know where they're going to be pulled from, but it's one of those things. So for example, for this month, maybe my goal target really wasn't 4,000. Maybe it was 2,000. Well, I surpassed my goal for the month. Well, maybe it's 3,000. Here's where I am. Here's where I need to be. Okay, so you can utilize, again, these beautiful visualizations to keep track of performance metrics and your goals. I'm just using variables as a way and a slider as a way. You saw me do that earlier with the alerts, the ability to keep track of the fulfillment numbers and which orders to process first. Now I'm using them just as a way to look at performance tracking. Top 6 products, well, maybe you're looking at the top 4 products. Maybe you want to look at the top 3 products. I love this one. So this is utilizing an expression. It's called a nested expression. This is something that utilizes set analysis, but it's not that difficult to learn. And I've done courses on set analysis, and I've done videos on set analysis. Very powerful expression language you put within the ability to limit your data points to a set of data that you describe. So for those of you who know set analysis, you know how powerful it is. For those of you who don't, I suggest you check out the videos that we have available on YouTube or in the community But basically what I'm doing here is I'm looking at a chart, scatter plot, that's showing me all my orders. But now I want to limit these outliers down to a few different orders. So I want to look for orders that are sales of each individual line item, maybe was greater than $56, and they purchased maybe 2 items. And now it's showing me just those. And you can see I'm looking at a correlation between sales and quantity sold, and I can see the individual items here. I could also hover over a dot and see the actual items purchased. Again, utilizing our powerful tooltip capability. Okay, so manipulation of variables, something you can do to provide what-if analysis, other capabilities, basically changing. And just to give you a little example of this, because I always like to show you how the sausage is made, so to speak, just have a variables interface. Our variables could be expressions, they could be individual numbers, they could be color codes, they could be pretty much anything. And then those variables are used anywhere there is a function, and you can see this function right here, vTarget cancel times 0.30. I was obviously just using 30% as a number, to change the goal automatically based off of the month of the day of time. Okay, so any place there's a function editor symbol is where you can place variables and expressions, making things completely dynamic. Okay, so based with the time that we have left, definitely want to know your feedback. A number of people had to drop off as well, not too many. But for those who have stayed, I definitely want to know what you thought of the demonstration and the capabilities you saw. I could talk about this stuff for hours, and there's more stuff. I mean, I'm like a kid at Christmas when it comes to our products, because I get to play with all these new toys, before they're released to the public, and then also put things together to show you what's possible. So I'm going to go through the Q&A now, and then we might do some screen sharing as well to answer those additional questions.